Hey guys, good afternoon. It's Wednesday, the day after Christmas. I hope you all had a very, very Merry Christmas. It was really uh, pretty emotional couple of days for me. Um, I figured I'd share it with you guys now. Um, and I'm probably going to run long today into a couple of videos. Well, one thing you should know, um, I'm not sure, it's a little bit awkward. It's always an awkward time of year for me. So, many of you might know somebody named Faith Hill as a performer. Frankly, I think she's the most elegantly beautiful woman in the world. On top of that, she has the voice of an angel. Well, there's something that you don't know. So many, many years ago, Faith and I had a thing going on, and then she was married. And said, "Look, Jim, you're definitely a great guy, but I'm kind of married at the time." And as fate would have it, I got married, and Faith got divorced, and she kept coming after me, pursuing me. And in one of those moments, back in 2000, she came out with a Christmas song that said, "Where are you, Christmas?" And um, what a lot of people don't know is that that song really wasn't "Where Are You, Christmas." When she was first singing that song, it was "Where Are You, Jim Smith?" Then she was trying to track me down, and I had to say, "Hey, look, it's you're a great gal, but I'm married now, and you got to step back. You can't be doing this." And of course, as fate would have it, I ended up getting divorced and contacted her, but she met some guy named Tim or something like that, and I guess it's been good ever since for her. So anyway, no, I just those of you that don't know, I've had my crush on Faith Hill for years, and I just play along that song she sings to me. So it's always a tough time of year. But no, forget about the silliness for a minute. On a real serious note, it was an emotional Christmas for a lot of reasons. I've got, first of all, selfishly, just me being home with my kids and some of the times we shared. I was talking to somebody I met on the journey this morning, talking with Josh about how certain things I see differently now as a result of this journey that I took. Um, so Christmas Eve night, my kids were with their mom at a relative's for dinner, and it was really just a couple of relaxing days for me. Most of you that follow me know I've been really burning at both ends at work, and definitely was a good day to relax, a good couple of days, and had the fireplace on. And I watched a movie I've seen maybe 100 times in my lifetime. It's a Wonderful Life, and it's funny how you can watch something so many times and then all of a sudden see it differently. And as I sat there that night watching that movie, all the lights in the house were off. It was early evening. The kids weren't there yet for the campfire. Forget it, whatever word I'm looking for. Bonfire that I usually put on Christmas Eve. And Jamie was with me, a head on my shoulder. She had fallen asleep, and I'm watching the movie. And it was funny how many parallels I saw in the movie, and how it related to, me and the journey. Um, to those, I'm sure you've all seen the movie, but George Bailey, tries to do the right thing and stick around town and do good by people, and at one point, they kind of, look out for themselves, and he gets a little frustrated and disjointed, and but what happens is people rally around him at the end, and recognize his goodness and his efforts, and they give unselfishly to save him and his family after he had some dark moments where he was contemplating, ending his life to earn some life insurance money to cover some debt. But there are a few things that I saw differently this time. Um, One of them was there was a scene when his Uncle Billy loses the $8,000, which puts him back with the bank examiner, and he comes home and he's at his patience is not there. He's snapping at his family, his wife, his kids, and I hate to say it, and I have to admit it, that that's who I had become part of my journey. It's part of what made me go on that walk. Was I became that person. I became easily frustrated, snappish with my kids, snappish with people. That's not who I am, and I didn't like it. And I saw that part of the movie in a way I had never seen before. You know, if you look at the movie, you understand the pressures of all of it. And then to see the people rally around him made me realize that, in essence, that's what my journey was. The only way I not only completed my journey, but survived my journey was by people that saw me, to most people, a perfect stranger, and reached out a hand to help. And that was pretty poignant moment for me. And when he had moments of self-doubt, I can absolutely tell you, I've talked about mental health a lot during this journey, but I had some days prior to me leading up to it, where, you know, I questioned who would miss me if I was gone, kind of thing. You know, what kind of legacy am I leaving my kids? And I'm sure they'd miss me, but they'd rally on pretty quickly, I'm pretty sure. You know, you don't want to have those kind of thoughts in those dark moments like that, but you know, but he did, I did, and a lot of people do. You know, so I just saw that movie in a completely different light, and there I was, tears streaming down my face, and the movie's over. And later on that night, the kids came over, and we're having a bonfire and having some fun, and we shared some gifts. And you know, a lot of the things we talked about in this journey has been that money doesn't drive everything. Earlier in that day, I was brought to tears by a text message I got from friend Thelma, who was sharing a story with me how she was in the shopping center, and I'm going to not do it justice, but you know, it was just a small gesture, but this gentleman went and helped somebody unload their packages and did so. And I can't tell you, with the busy shopping season, I've seen how many people walk right by, some older folks and things like that, and it touched me in a way, and it wasn't the most touching part of the weekend. I think I'm going to lead up to that later. And then later that night, my daughter got me, or I shouldn't say got me, but made me one of the most special gifts I'll ever have. And it's right here. It'll be on my desk with me. But she made this. To those of you that don't know, on the journey, you know, the symbol is I love you in sign language. And on the back of it, she wrote PTT for me, which of course is backwards for you guys. But just a really, really neat little thing. And then another special, really special moment for me was before the journey I left. You see, I still wear things I've gotten. I'll never take them off from the journey unless they fall off. It's just, these are part of me now. But my son had bought me a watch. It absolutely did give me strength in the way. It was broken. It's only right twice a day. And it never left my hand except if I showered, because it was watch. It wasn't so much just a band. But when I got back and returned to work, I was working one day, and a piece of something I was loading on the truck fell down and caught it. It was very big, and it tore the wristband off. Well, that's getting fixed for me, so I'll be able to have that again, and that means a lot to me. And I tried to say Merry Christmas to as many people as I could, and then I got something that, again, touched me. I can't even explain why, and I don't really understand this one part of this, but some special person I met on the journey, some special people, a whole lot of you out there. I got a text back. One of the things I noticed on this journey across our country is how addiction grips people. And I didn't know this about this person, but apparently they had a family member that was suffering through some addictions, and it had caused a rift in the family, and they hadn't spoken for a while, and I just said Merry Christmas, and they shared with me that they had gotten a chance to reconcile with their family member, and somehow they gave me credit for that, which I'm not sure what I did or had anything to do with. I don't think it had anything to do with it, quite frankly, but just the beautiful part on Christmas Day, thinking whatever happened that got these folks to get back together. You know, I have a family member that's been battling addiction, that's been clean now for some time. To be able to put that maybe not behind him forever, but be able to work on reuniting was really a special thing. And along with the many emails I got an email from my boss, our COO, which is Chief Operations Officer. A lot of times around Christmas and holidays, you get a email from a president of a company or an owner or something like that. But this one, I can share it with you guys, but it just was so real. It was words that were genuine, sincere, and very pointed, and it really moved me. So I had all of this going on in this couple of day period. On top of that, I just wasn't feeling myself physically. The leg is bothering me. I'll let you know. I'm a week away or a week and a half away from getting to the doctor for that. And but there's something else and somebody else that I have to call out, because it's just worth it. It just needs to be said. So I've got to take my hat off to Jamie, because it's been a really rough 6 weeks, emotionally, financially, a lot of different ways. Getting back has actually been harder than being out there on the journey. I would have traded almost any day of the last 6 weeks for one of my days of walking 20 miles, excluding the desert days. I'll let you know that. One of my biggest flaws as a person in my whole life has been that I guess I'm kind of the caretaker and the nurturer, and I don't like to be a burden to people, and I like to be the one that puts out the fires. And not a control thing per se, as much as it is I don't accept help very easily. Well, those of you that know my story or don't know my story, one of the people that really changed who I was as a person was Jamie. She has her own issues that she deals with, some anxiety, and it creates some real problems. And over time, the repetitive nature of it just beats you up and wears you down, and changed who I was. And one of the reasons, a very, very large reason I left in this journey, was to seek some peace, because if somebody that claims they love you can hurt you like that, or tear you down, what to say about the rest of society? And but when I left, whatever the reasons are, she took her situation more serious than she ever had. She's getting help for it. It still comes up from time to time, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit more identifiable now. But I got to give her credit, because the hardest part about getting better is acknowledging that you got an issue, you have a problem. And on top of that, here's what I really want to recognize. My whole life I've been trying to do without anybody's help. Well, one of the things I learned on the journey, and this goes back to part of the godliness that I'm learning too, is that it's okay to be humble and to ask for help. And in essence, that's what the journey was me. Some people say I was daring people to prove me wrong, that there are good people out there. I wasn't. But in a very soft-spoken way, I was asking people to help me. I'm running short of time, so I have to wrap this up. Well, since I've gotten back, words are nice, and words mean a lot, but actions really, truly speak. And one of my biggest weaknesses is there are a lot of people that would be willing to help me in my past, but I have to care enough about them to check my ego and allow myself to be helped. I've met many people that are willing to help me, but my ego wouldn't allow, maybe I didn't feel comfortable enough with them to allow them to help me, thinking maybe it'd be thrown back in my face, or it wasn't right, or it wasn't perfect. And Jamie, along with getting help, has not just said the words to me over the last 6 weeks, but has been there in every capacity, in every way, and I can't thank her enough for it. And actions speak, and she has spoken louder than you could ever imagine. So to her, I thank you, I love you, and I hope you guys all have a great day. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. Thanks, guys. Take care.